Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is July 11th, and oh my gosh, it's wild and crazy. I hope that you all are well. I'm in my new life. I've been rebirthed. I gave birth to my son back in 2000, September 2000, and he's flown from the nest. He's now at the Coast Guard Academy. I'm so proud. It is an adjustment, but you know, with him leaving off, basically going into the military, you just have to just be a tough mom. I got my little crying out long before he left out of here. And so I just accept this is, this is how things should be. So I'm grateful that he is there. And so now I get to start figuring out who I am again with just one child at home and all this time on my hand because my first child is my Aries child. So busy all the time. So I just, wow. Glad to be logging in this morning and wanting to just touch base with you all as we are caught up in some wild and crazy energy. Let me see here. I think I did say happy birthday to all the Cancerians. Yes, I did. So happy New Year to the Cancer risings and, just to those with Cancer moons. Make sure you celebrate during this time. This is a big time for you Cancerians. The new moon that we have coming up on Thursday, I think it is, the 12th, is in Cancer. So one of the things I'm learning, the more I study astrology, is that wherever the sun is, that's a theme for the month. It's time for everybody to think about all things Cancerian. If you know your birth chart, you want to revisit that area of your chart. So for instance, those who are Scorpio rising, I know that because that's my ascendant sign. Ninth house from the ascendant is Cancer. And the house has to do with beliefs. It has to do with higher education, travel, culture, different things like that. So that would be the area of life that is coming up for you. How can you nurture that? Cancer also has to do with, besides nurturance, it has to do with family and home. That's like the main thing people think about with Cancer. Family and home. And so, you may need to be nurturing something. This is everybody. This is how we look at Cancer. We may need, what area of our lives do we need to nurture? Do we need to nurture the physical body more, our mental, our spiritual? What in our life is calling for nurturance? So wherever the sun is, you can use that as a theme for right now. And you can use the new moon to make a commitment regarding nurturance in your life. So for instance, think about Yemonja. And she is the goddess energy that is the mother. And so you want to begin to connect with this energy of Yemonja and work with this energy of Yemonja using water and all that kind of good stuff to do ritual work, for instance, if you are one who likes to work with the goddess. But Cancer is also related to history because it's about the family. So you may be feeling led, or you may want to make some commitments to really focusing on learning your history, connecting with more members of your family. I guess, think about it. This time is a big time for family reunions. I never thought about it until now, which, I mean, I'm new to really understanding astrology, so I guess I never would make the connection until now. But you think, at least in the USA, a lot of people do family reunion stuff around this Cancerian time. So that's cool. And let me see here. What else do I want to tell you all? Food, this may be a time where we need to be setting time aside time to really focus on, making nurturing meals to me, which means it's healthy. Um, and doing things around the house. If it's not just during this time, it's about making the commitment to what do you want to do, Cancerian thing do you want to commit to over the next year? So this year started out in the energy of Cancer. So you may want to ask yourself, what are you, how are you nurturing your, the goals that you set for this year? Are you doing things that are nurturing for yourself, for your family, for the things that you say are important? I often say a lot of times people talk about what's important, but then they're not doing anything about it. And so I encourage you, if you say something is important, then you should have a level of devotion to it. And if you don't, this is a time to really make the commitment to being devoted, because of course a mother is devoted. Mother energy, nurturance energy, it is related to the energy of devotion. That is this time called the season of Cancer. It's also a time to heal the emotional body. That's something else to really think about, healing the emotional body. So that's what I want to say about Cancerian season. Just to kind of give you heads up, as we begin to move into Leo, one of my main astrology teacher taught me that Leo in the ancient times was considered the start of the spiritual new year, because Leo has to do with inspiration. Leo is ruled by the sun. And so wherever your sun sign is, that's the one thing we all know. We know where our sun sign is. Wherever your sun sign is, draw on the inspiration of that sun sign and use it to make some commitments. Use the energy of your sun sign to begin to help you move in the direction that you want to go, to reverse some things that perhaps you don't want in your life, and to be that inspiration. I see wisdom as a guiding light. And so the energy of your sun sign can be your guiding light. And I encourage you to learn more. What does the energy of, say, for instance, Cancer really mean? Don't really just focus on what it means to be a Cancer. What is the wisdom of Cancer? Just like I just broke it down. You don't have to, you may not have any planets in Cancer. You may not, relate to Cancer at all, but we all got Cancer in us. We all need to use the wisdom of Cancer. Something in our life needs to be nurtured. At some point, we've got to nurture something or somebody, and at the very least, our own selves. So understanding what is the wisdom of that sun sign, of that astrological sign, especially for your sun sign, it can give you some great wisdom to help inspire you no matter what phase you are in your life. So we have Leo coming up, and it's the beginning of a new spiritual year. So if you need a new beginning, when Leo comes, that's a time period you can use to rededicate your life to your destiny. Let's see here. So I've been wanting to come on and talk about, we have this eclipse season coming up. And what is said is about 2 weeks before each eclipse, you'll get a sense of what is to come. There's so much going on right now that it's not just about the eclipses, but just know this first eclipse, which is in Cancer, it is it's in Cancer, but if you're Capricorn, you're gonna be feeling this a lot. What did I do? Sorry, the solar eclipse in Cancer. Solar eclipse in Cancer. And push this back. And so that means that Capricorn is also affected. So that's going to be on the 12th. And then on the 27th is the lunar eclipse, full moon and lunar eclipse in Aquarius and Leo, on the Aquarius and Leo axis. And so it's a lot of it's a lot that's going to be happening, because guess what? 2 weeks after that is another eclipse, solar eclipse in Leo. So it's a lot going on with these eclipses. It's not just going to be two. I don't even know how they typically come, but it's three eclipses coming. And eclipses disrupt things. And so we all need to be knowing, some of us are going to be affected more. The most powerful one, it sounds like, is the one on July 27th, at the full moon. That's going to be the biggest eclipse. And so eclipses disrupt us. Who knows? Everyone has different ways of dealing with these eclipses. But if you Capricorn and Cancer, and if you are Leo and Aquarius, and I can't remember which one. Again, I'm a budding astrologist, and so it's important for y'all to go find people who know what they're doing. I watch a lot of the astrologers on Astrolata. I know people have their favorites, but they typically will go over these transits in depth and let you know which one's going to get hit the most. But I'm pretty sure with that second one, if you are Taurus, Leo, and let me see here. What comes after Virgo? Scorpio, or is it, I think, Aquarius? Yeah. Then, like the fixed signs, and maybe some of the cardinal signs would be affected. Cardinal would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So it's important for you to I don't know, just thinking about the eclipse season gives me stress, because I had some rough eclipses last year. So the good news is they're typically going to put us more in tune with our destiny. Let me just sum it up with that. We'll be more in alignment with our destiny, even though we may find ourselves in crisis. The other thing about eclipse energy is it doesn't just last a couple of weeks. It lasts for like 6 months. So if you know your chart, it would be good for you to look at the area of life that's going to be affected by these eclipses. And so, plan accordingly. And you have to look at both. So like I said, if it's Cancer and Capricorn, you have to look at both of those areas of your life. Now, the new moon is in Cancer. So, really and truly, that's going to be like an area of your life that you really need to be looking at. But just know we're in for a rough spot. And it's not just the eclipses that are going on. Another thing that I have found fascinating is this Mars in Aquarius. Now, I've talked about Mars in Aquarius in retrograde. And this is rough. When Mars, because there's a setup, and for those who understand, Mars conjunct the south node of the moon, or Ketu. When that was going on, that's when people, those famous people committed suicide. That's going to happen again because Mars is now retrograding. It's moving backwards in Aquarius. And so what we are finding with Mars in Aquarius is freedom and liberation. That's really what this has to do with, because Aquarius is like, don't put me in a box. Aquarius is about progress. And, Mars is about forward movement, but because it's in retrograde, it's making us look back over like all things Aquarius in our lives. And it's like, where do we need to be free? Where have we left ourselves locked in chains? And I feel like I'm on my toes right now as we speak, because my mind has been fixed on certain things that hold me back from living and just doing me, you know? And it's not like it's really anything completely and totally out of the box that I want to do, but I just want to be me. And I've really been thinking about that. That's what the retrogrades do for us. They really make us review and just sort of replay and redo. And it's, again, all things Aquarius. Aquarius has to do with what is the progress that we should be having in our lives. What is the area where we, Aquarius is about receiving. It's like sound waves and energy waves, and it's about vibration. What vibration really should I be at when I think Aquarius? Now, you got to know your chart, but if we're just talking, like I said, just think about the theme of Aquarius. We actually are at a spot now where we're like the universe, the physical universe is shifting from Pisces into Aquarius. I have been told we're not quite in Aquarius yet. We at the last little stage of Pisces going into Aquarius. So it's like this Aquarian energy is sort of like a part of what we're doing. We really should be thinking all things Aquarius. And where should we be moving forward? But also Aquarius is like getting information from the stratospheres. When you think of people who are Aquarius, sometimes they're thinking about stuff and you're like, where did they get that from? Nobody is believing anything Aquarius is saying. They're sounding like aliens. A lot of them are like complete weirdos. And then the next thing you know, the very thing that Aquarius said has manifested. You're like, how did you know it was going to happen? We all have an inner Aquarius. We all have an Aquarius theme in some kind of way in our life. All, just like all the Orisha in us, all of the zodiac is within us. And so we all have to answer to Aquarius. And Mars is making us do that. And so that's what you want to be thinking about. But like I said, Mars is our energy. And it's sort of like we want to be thinking about, like, where have we been channeling our energy? Have we been channeling our energy into our progress? Or are we wasting our energy and our time? Have we been channeling our energy into the wrong dream? Or are we channeling our energy in the dream that's going to move us forward? The vision that has been set forth for our lives. And think about science, thinking about being inventive. The inventors, they see the thing before it's actually there. And so we see what is before us before it's actually there for our lives. How are we channeling our energy into that? Or are we channeling it into somebody else's dream for our lives? It's time out for that. See, this Mars energy is Herakahuti. Herakahuti is like, you're not going to waste our time. I will go retrograde on your butt, make you see you are headed in the wrong direction. And then when it's time to move forward, baby, we need to be going in the right direction. Herakahuti says, take your inner machete and cut off whatever you are doing that is not taking you where you need to go. So these are the things that are important for us to be thinking about with this Mars in retrograde. But we really need to be realizing that retrograde is a time to slow down. So yesterday, Jupiter started moving forward because we had like 5 planets or so retrograde. Saturn is retrograde. Pluto, I think, is retrograde. Jupiter was retrograde. Mars is retrograde. And Mercury is about to go retrograde. It's time for us to take stock. We need to do some reviewing. We need to be slowing down. Even though it's the summertime, Mars only goes retrograde about every 2 years. So we just got to slow it down a little bit this summer. And we want to fix things that are broken. And this is on all levels. Fix what's broken. That's Hera Kahuti is not playing with us, or Mars is not playing with us. We need to fix what's broken. It doesn't like all this broke stuff. And this is in terms of like technology and things around the house. You know, this is in Cancerian season too. And what else was I gonna say? And not This is really not the time to be taking a lot of risk. Now, this is a time to be reviewing the kind of risk perhaps that we want to take. This is not the time to be taking a lot of risk, especially if you are, well, I don't know. I'm not astrology. I was gonna say, especially if you're an Aquarius, but it has more to do with the energy of Mars, where it is in your chart. And so in those particular areas in life, but just in general, if it's something new, don't take a risk. It's not time to start anything new during a retrograde period. So it's not really time to start anything, especially not doing Mars and Mercury retrograde, because this is quick, fast energy. If you start something new, it probably won't last. So this is really a time where we need to review, where do I need to take more risk in my life? Or am I taking too many risks that aren't bringing me returns? That would be my issue. I take risks and I'm like, oh, that didn't pan out like I thought it would. When I use the oracle, it all is lined up. It's when I'm being rash and hasty, because that's the thing. Mars is saying, because this is Herakuti Ogun, where are you being rash and hasty in your life? And it's not profiting you. Okay. And it's a time to just say, okay, I'm not going to argue with anybody. It's not worth it. This is a time where we can see more arguments. Everybody's fighting for what they think is the right way. You know, I just say fight the good fight. Don't fight a fight just for the sake of fighting one. That's what we have to watch out with this Mars, Hera-Kahuti Ogun energy. Folks just want to fight. Folks are warriors, but they being warriors about the wrong cause. This is a time to see, are we really fighting for the right cause? I'm getting more and more reserved with the causes that I'm fighting for, because I want to see some profits. Okay. I don't want to be just every time I turn around, I'm fighting for a cause, but no work is getting done. So this is a time for us to really be reviewing. And the last thing I'll say about Mars retrograde is it's important for us to make sure that we keep ourselves safe. This is a time where accidents can ensue. If you find that you are bumping yourself and you are cutting yourself quite a bit, that's because you're not hearing from Mars. And I be doggone, I stubbed my toe last week in a way that I cannot dance like I typically do. So just be careful of accidents. Don't take any risks right now. I think this is going to last until like August. Oh, I can just look at my calendar. Oh. August 27th, Mars goes direct. I bought a calendar from Astrolata. So next year, I mean, they still have it. It's like 50% off. But if you want to get a good astrological calendar, you can go through astrolata.com. And I use this regularly to keep up with the transits or with what the planets are doing. Mercury goes retrograde soon, so we're in the shadow period. And of course, Mercury has to do with our minds. And it's interesting because the card that I pulled for you all for this time is Sabak, which is the same energy as Mercury. And so this has to do with our mind. And one of the things I wanted to suggest is that you do something to support your nervous system. And you can do things like take Nervines, go get the herbs and the teas with the herbs and all that kind of good stuff that help support your nervous system. You know, Aquarius is a nervous system. It rules the nervous system. And, you know, Mercury is about the mind, and, you know, it's like a lot of energy going on. We got this eclipse energy, which it really affects us on a deep spiritual and internal level. Now, everyone's going to feel the eclipse differently, just sort of depending on where it is in your chart. So some people are going to feel it more than others. I'm not saying it's going to wreck everybody's lives. It's 3 in a row. So we probably all are going to be feeling this a little bit. But because it's such disruptive energy, we want to be putting things in place. Another thing I'm thinking is perhaps wearing crystals, making sure that you smudge yourself. And like I told you, I know a lady, subtleenergymassage.com. I bought this spray, mist myself, to just help to keep my energy clear of other people's stuff. That's another thing. We're going to be taking in a lot with this eclipse energy, just taking in, taking in. The veil is thin, and just there's the physical, there's the spiritual, there's the emotional, there's the mental. It's just like so much going on. We want to do whatever we can to keep our energy balanced, taking some baths, going out into nature, standing on the earth barefooted. You know the kinds of things that you do, and even doing things like getting a massage, and getting Reiki, body work, iridology, all the things that we do. Again, it's Cancer season, so we really want to be doing things to nurture the body, and that will help our nervous system, because our mind is now going to be affected with Mercury going into retrograde. So yeah, we have to think about technology and being safe in travel. We also want to be thinking about leaving early. So because time gets like messed up, it's like you just show up late all the time when Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury will start on the 27th and it goes for about 3 weeks. And it's going to be retrograde in Leo. One of the things I wanted to tell y'all is on YouTube, go to Cosmic Homegirl. Her name is April. Go to Cosmic Homegirl and look at her channel, the video on Mercury and Leo. She talks extensively about that particular transit, which is actually very complex. Suffice it to say, this Mercury retrograde, we need to be thinking about, just like I talked about Leo, sources of inspiration. Our mind is going to be in areas where we're proud, maybe too proud, and also our communication. Like right now, the way that we talk to people, like I really even had a situation where somebody was like, "You're talking too much in our group. You need to stop talking." I was like, "Oh, how dare someone say that to me? I am like the inspiration queen. Everyone likes to hear from me." And I thought, you know what? Yeah, they were right. I was posting too much. And even though it still pisses me off, I'm just being 100% because it's Mars in retrograde. So I got an attitude longer than typically. I thought to myself, that was a waste of my time. I didn't need to be doing all that posting anyway. I need to be making YouTube videos for my channel instead of putting my inspiration in a group that I can put a little bit there. I don't need to be putting all my inspiration there. I should be putting it in my channel. I should be putting it in my business. I should be putting my inspiration in my own self. So it's like all these things about communication, inspiration, reviewing what inspires us. We need to get our minds inspired and lifted. This is why Sebek is speaking to us today. We need to, we used to do this cheer when I was a little girl. Elevate your mind. Get yourself together. That's how we did it in Mississippi. Elevate your mind. Get yourself together. I don't know what that had to do with that football team, but that's what we said, and that's what I'm saying we need to be doing right now with this Mercury in retrograde. And so there's other stuff going on. It's like this planet square that planet, this planet trying that planet. I'm going to leave that for the astrologers. You find you a good astrologer, I'm going to leave that for them. But the little bit I've shared, this is a lot. This is a lot. But what I'm learning to do is Sorry, y'all. Let me quit faking the funk. What I'm learning to do is to maximize the energy of the time. It's very important for us to maximize the energy of the time. Use it while it's here. Use it while it's in effect. You know, I talk about the importance of being aware all the time. Awareness is key. So be aware of what's going on and maximize it. And even if you don't know anything about astrology, you can allow yourself, first and foremost, you can educate yourself because astrologers put out videos every single day to tell you this is what you can think about. There's other people doing readings like this video that I'm making, and people who do other readings. You can do your own readings. It doesn't take a whole lot to say, okay, let me get me some wisdom for today, and this is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I'm going to maximize this time. You can sense it. If you can't sense it, then you need to be making sure you're studying to hear what's going on. Go get yourself a reading. I recommend Cosmic Homegirl. She's my favorite to get an astrological reading for. She's affordable and she's excellent. Her name is April, so you'll know you have the right one. But I think her website is Indigo Moon Astrology. She actually has eclipse readings going on right now. I got one for myself, I think it was last year. And then I got some readings for my kids. So this, I know her work. She's amazing. She was on our show as the Pisces moon goddess before. But anywho, or on my channel. You should be going out of your way to hear what's going on. And then you want to begin to maximize this time. Every 2 years, Mars goes retrograde. People hate retrogrades, but retrogrades are needed because if we didn't get retrogrades, we would never take a break. We would just constantly be moving forward. But retrogrades give us a chance to make a break or take a break so that we can think, am I really, all this forward movement, am I going in the right direction? And so what I've heard, and I can't tell you exactly why, but next year, 2019, is going to be even more amped up, perhaps even rough. So this retrograde season right now that we're in is giving us a chance to say, okay, let me get myself together so that I am, next year in 2019, we want to be stable, especially in our spiritual practices. We want to be stable. We don't want to try to get ourselves together. It is no time to learn how to swim when you out in the middle of the ocean. That's not the time to learn how to swim. The time to learn how to swim is when we're standing on the side of the pool and the pool is only 3-4 feet deep. That's when it's time to learn how to swim. So that when we hit the middle of that ocean, we already got it down. We know what we're doing. Okay. So with that, I'm going to see the comments. Oh, I'm so happy to share. Hey, how y'all doing? Loving y'all too. T-Gain said, oh, yes. I'm so happy that you shared that about Graham. If she was a Cancerian grandma, oh my gosh, she's got to be amazing. So we honor your Graham, and I'm so happy that you shared. And I know her spirit is with you, and you know, just do some ritual to honor her. And again, look at this. We're talking about your Graham, and this is what Cancer is about: remembering our history, remembering our ancestors. So that is nice. Taurus is another sign that has to do with our ancestors. Scorpio is ancient, but you know, Scorpio is hardcore. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I think about you all the time, and so we're going to see what my new life looks like. I said I was scapegoating on my son before, and it was all true. This kid kept me so busy. I almost feel like I have PTSD. I'm like so amped, even though he's not here, and I'm not so busy with that. It's like, oof, am I forgetting something? He's doing well, actually. He's doing well. But anywho, I want to see if I'm really going to go ahead and commit to making videos on a regular basis for this channel. So anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video, share the video with people who you think could potentially use this. Let me know how things are going with you during this season. You just need to be in it for the long haul. All of July, or the rest of July, and all of August. Just be in it for the long haul. And if I can divine for you, please let me know. My website is goddessbodymindspirit.com. I would love to divine for you and to give you insight on eclipse energy, general reading. I actually have done quite a few of whole life readings over the last 6 months or so. People are like, I need to know why I'm here. And it's a lot of young people too. I'm really impressed with that. But maybe you want a goddess reading. I do various readings, and I do my best to make sure you have everything you need to have a very good roadmap to navigate these wild and crazy